Sometimes it just happened. You don't expect too much, but you also don't set your expectations too low. And when something actually manages to impress you in that in-between space, it hits differently. Marvel's Thunderbolts is one of those experiences. The movie hit theaters today, and after watching it, I had a bunch of thoughts racing through my head. So let me walk you through it all, spoiler-free, of course. Starting with a light little synopsis. From what we saw in the trailer, Thunderbolts is about a team of misfits. Not the usual Marvel A-listers, but rather characters we've seen before, now brought together in a completely different way. They're not straight-up heroes. They operate more in that gray area, the kind of people for whom right and wrong isn't always black and white. So what happens when a team like that is sent on a mission from which they're not expected to return? And how everything flips when they face off against someone incredibly powerful. Superhero or supervillain, I won't say. You'll have to experience that yourself. Now let's talk about how the film feels. It's directed by Jake Schreier, and if you've seen any of his work, you'll know he brings a unique visual touch. The wide-angle shots, the clean tracking shots, the way the camera moves, it's all done beautifully. On top of that, the background music, it slaps. Right from the opening shot, the score sets a tone that pulls you in. But great visuals and music alone don't make a great film. What truly matters is the writing, and here's where it gets interesting. At surface level, the story might feel a bit basic. Yes, they've tried something a little different, and it works to an extent. But if you sit back and really think about it, the plot isn't exactly deep or complex. However, what makes Thunderbolts truly fun is the character dynamics. The banter, the back and forth, the chemistry between these misfit anti-heroes. That's where the movie wins. We've seen Avengers like Iron Man, Cap, Thor, and Widow interact in multiple films, but this is the first time we're seeing these characters share the screen. John Walker, Red Guardian, Ghost, Taskmaster, all of them bouncing off one another in ways I didn't expect to enjoy so much, but I genuinely did. The pacing? Pretty tight. The film doesn't waste time dragging scenes out or hanging too long on setups. It jumps from one plot beat to another quickly, keeping things moving. But yeah, at a few points it does slow down a little, mostly because some characters are either new or haven't had much screen time in previous projects. The movie takes the time to build them up, which I understand. They gave those characters space to breathe through dialogue and quiet moments, which helps connect you to them. And the best part? It doesn't waste too much time rehashing past stories. Like with John Walker, if you've seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you'll get subtle callbacks that fill you in on what's happened since then. What surprised me the most is how attached I felt to this group by the end. They're misfits. Flawed, a bit messy, but they still care, and they still do the thing. That kind of makes them feel relatable, just like all of us. Imperfect, but still trying. So if you've been missing that old school Marvel energy, this film might hit the spot for you. Sure, it may not have those massive Avengers-level action sequences or a jaw-dropping climax. Some people might find the ending a bit underwhelming, but maybe that wasn't the point. This film was more about establishing characters and planting seeds for what's to come, especially with those two post-credit scenes, one of which hints very strongly at the Fantastic Four and Doom. If you're choosing between formats, I'd recommend 2D. The 3D effects don't add much, and at times the screen looks a bit too dark. But one effect that does make a difference? That little like button down below. If you enjoyed this spoiler-free take, I'd really appreciate the support.